We've got owning Manhattan star Peter Zaitzeff, Sexy Rabbit.
Sexy Rabbit.
That's what when you heard that nickname, what did you think?
I was originally for it.
Yeah.
But I was on MSNBC the other day, and they put MSNBC, and they put Sexy Rabbit
As your title?
as my title. And I was like, I don't know. On MSNBC. Like, maybe that should go away for that.
Yeah, that's brazen. I have your title as like Peter Zaitzeff with your Instagram handle, but I remember that scene. Ryan Serhant had to pitch you to join his team.
Yeah.
What about his pitch actually worked?
So Ryan, and we were talking about this a little bit before the show, Ryan was very persistent for years to recruit me. And eventually I took a meeting with him, and I was like, I'll just sit, because you take meetings.
Yeah.
Right? You never leave an opportunity undone. So I met with him once, and then he kept following up. And eventually he was so persistent, and I realized after the 6 months of follow-up that there was a better opportunity for me with him than where I was currently, which was Corcoran before that, which I had a lovely time with, and I was very, very close with Pam. So the decision to go to Ryan, like, I remember crying literally for 3 months. And then eventually
because you were torn over the decision?
Because I was torn over the decision, because in this business, you create so many relationships at a company. Those relationships you rely on every day, day in and day out. That's the backbone of the business. And so when you leave a company, because I had left Douglas Elliman before that, there's always a transition period. And it's like a 6-8 month period where you need to put your head down and work as hard as you can to build the trust, to build the relationships with the current company you're with. And I had to do that, and I was prepared to do that, but I had to also leave some of the relationships behind, which ate me up. And eventually I sat down after, like, with Jared, who was working with me at the time, and I was like, all right, heads we stay at Corcoran.
Oh my gosh.
Literally, heads we stay at Corcoran, tails we go.
You left it to a coin flip.
Toss. And I still have the coin. It sits on my desk, and I haven't moved it from its position on tails. So there was that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you joined forces with Ryan Serhant.
Yeah.
So there's other spinoffs. I've watched $1 Million Listing in the past.
Yeah.
It's also addicting to watch, because you see these beautiful homes in Manhattan, and you're dreaming and thinking, oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. Were you ever approached by other shows?
So $1 Million Listing approached me, I think, when Louise was on the show, and then he came off, and then they eventually hired Steve Gold. During that transition, I was approached by $1 Million Listing to go on the show, and I did several rounds of interviews. I eventually decided, I was married at the time, young children. I didn't want to I wasn't prepared in a way to showcase my life in such a personal way.
Yeah.
And so I eventually was like, this is not for me.
Because they show everything.
They show everything.
They even showed Ryan taking a shower.
Exactly. And they probably show me taking a shower at some point. I know the producers of Owning Manhattan probably want.
Is there a line, though? I mean, did you have to come up with one where be like, I don't want you here?
I think you can. I think that, like, you can say that I won't do this, but most of the time you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Because
you know what you sign up for.
You know what you sign up for. And I would say that, like, I didn't know, I'm a sensitive guy. Like, I'm very sensitive at heart. And doing the show, and, like, because you get criticism, you get great stuff from the show. And then you get criticism, when you're a public person, all of that comes. And I would say that, like, I realized from doing the show that I'm a lot stronger personality-wise and resilient than I ever knew that I was. So that's the best thing that came out of the show. Like,
how did you figure that out?
Just that I don't take, like, I used to take criticism so seriously, right? Like, I'm concerned about what other people think about me, and I want to be a good person all the time. And, to take criticism is hard.
Yeah.
And doing the show, I realized criticism is fine, and like it's nothing because you get it and then you forget it.
Yeah,
right.
because it moves so fast, and so many people are watching this show too. How did it change your life?
So I am much more public now.
Yeah. You get recognized?
I get recognized on the street, which is like, it's fun. It's cool. It's sort of like a little like cool thing. It's not like I'm Bradley Cooper and people are paparazzi are taking pictures of me, you know, but like I was in Vail recently with my kids and in line to get tickets, lift tickets, and like a group of people came up to me, right? And they were like, "Oh my God,
you're the guy from that show.
You're the guy from the show.
Yeah.
They're the guy from the show." And then I was with a colleague the other day, standing outside my apartment, and a guy like in his 20s just goes, "You're the man on the show. I love you." Like,
I love you too.
And Jamie looks at me and she's like, "Does that happen to you all the time?" I was like, "Every day." Although it doesn't happen every day. I just told her it did.
Yeah, it's a really, really popular show. I loved it. I binged it. What's there not to love about it? So the reason why I wanted to bring you on Talking with Natasha is because you have done $5 billion in sales.
Yes.
You just updated that number, $5 billion.
Yeah.
And there is something to be said about the art of the pitch. How important is that first 30 seconds when you're pitching someone?
I think it's everything. On the way up here, we got a call, cold call. An accountant recommended a client to us and gave her a number, told her to give her a call, right? The lady calls me. She lives on the Upper West Side, has an apartment. This is just a phone call. Has an apartment for sale. And I didn't talk to her about the apartment. I talked to her about her life and who she was and relating to her about her family and relating to her with my family and my kids and where I live and how long I've been in the city. And that was an instant connection. And the next thing you know, she's like, "Can you come see my apartment tomorrow?" Right? And that was what? A 2-minute phone call.
Yeah. So
relating to that person within the first 30, 60 seconds is everything. I often want to be people's friends rather than their real estate broker, right? I'm a friend first, and then if you trust me enough to sell your home, then I can sell your home for you, and I can do a really freaking good job at doing that.
Is that in asking questions about the person or just getting a nugget and finding how it relates to you very quickly?
Yeah, I think it's getting a nugget and finding how it relates, because everybody's relatable. People want to be valued, right? And people want to be treated the way that you want to be treated. And I find that everybody has a story to tell, and everybody's important, and everything is important, right? I don't not like people. I love people. There's maybe 2 people in the world that I don't like, and everybody else I either love or like. So I'm very much a people person, and that's what
do those 2 people do to you?
They're not good people.
Had to be really bad.
So it's relating to the person. I just did the largest. I'm obviously proud of it because it was a large deal, but what I'm proud about, I did the largest deal downtown in the history of downtown last year for $60 million. That relationship with that client, it took me 10 years to build that relationship.
Wow. For
him to be able to trust me and know that I was going to do the job right. And then eventually we sold the apartment, and we didn't sell it for $1. It's on the show. We didn't sell it for $1 less than he wanted. The price was $60 million. We didn't sell it for $59,955.
Is this the one that you beat Ryan in?
Yeah.
Was that scene, was that he's your boss,
right?
And you just beat him on a listing,
right?
What was going through your mind?
So he had a buyer. I had the listing. So he was on the other side. And again, I told Ryan, this was binary, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't about doing the deal with Ryan. It was about the price. I knew the client at that point for 10 years. We had turned down $42, $45, $50 million in the past. I knew my client so well, he was not going to go for $1 under 60. Ryan wasn't able to get him to 60, and therefore he didn't get the deal. The other person was at 60. We did the deal.
That was explosive.
Yeah. Yeah, for Ryan.
For Ryan, yeah. You were, I
For
think
me,
you
it
were,
was just another deal.
Yep, you were calm, cool, and collected. It's just really interesting to watch, especially with New York City being high strong and then the real estate market just being like so in the moment, so fast paced. Stay with us. We've got to take a quick break.
Okay.
And after the break, I want to talk about the fact that you've run 150 miles through the Sahara Desert. So got a lot of questions for that. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Yes.
Welcome back to Talking with Natasha. I'm here with Peter Zaitzeff. We were just talking about country music.
Yeah.
What's your you listen to all kinds of music?
All kinds of music. I love everything. Basically, if it's good, I listen to it. So on Saturdays, opera from the Met, live from the Met. Classical, love classical. My kids were born to Brahms and Schubert, believe it or not.
You mean you played in the delivery room?
In the delivery room. All the lights off, and Jack was Brahms and Walter was Schubert.
How did you select those?
It was just like we wanted something calm and peaceful.
Yeah.
And I brought all of the pillows from home and candles. Actually, when Walter, it was actually sort of a funny story. When Walter was born, first of all, he was early, so a month early, and he's like, I'm going to the hospital. Like, I'm going into labor. I'm like, no, you're not. Just go to the hospital, check it out.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm going into labor. And I was like, all right, let me leave work. I'm going to go home, get her to-go bag, and get everything prepared.
Yeah.
So I brought everything to the hospital, pillows, candles, speaker, right? And then so we turned off all of the hospital lights and gave birth in this most peaceful environment. The doctor came in and was like, this is incredible.
It's like you set a mood.
You set a mood.
Yeah.
Ambiance. And their lives were dictated by what we were listening to in the delivery room, I feel.
How interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Walter was heavy.
Yeah.
Birth was heavy. But Jax was a little bit more peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You let the music kind of dictate it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you founded the Kabuki Foundation.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. Your son has this syndrome, which I looked up because I wasn't so familiar. It's a very rare disease.
Very rare disease. It's 1 in 32,000 are born with it. And, it on the spectrum, you could have really severe disabilities to less so disabilities. Walter, as a person and a soul, is the most special kid that I could ever dream of.
Yeah.
When we didn't get the diagnosis until maybe 6-7 months old, right? And I remember Annie and I were got the diagnosis. We sat in bed for 2 days because you're numb, right? You don't know what the world will look like, what his life will look like. And after 2 days, we got out of bed and we said, we're going to make this kid's life the best it can possibly be. And meanwhile, he has taught me so much more about life than I could ever teach him. And he's a blessing to not just me and my family, but every single person he touches or meets.
He sounds amazing.
He's incredible.
And the work that you're doing with the foundation, are you finding that there's not enough research in this arena just because it is such a rare disease?
Yeah, so it's harder. It's definitely harder to raise money because, the pharmaceutical companies are looking at the bigger, cancer and bigger problems to solve. But we've happened to raise, we have galas every year. So I think we've raised $6 million to
That's amazing.
For research.
Yeah.
And so things are progressing. They're discovering new drugs that can help people, to help kids with Kabuki progress a more normal life.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, I love Walter the way he is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Walter's just a wonderful, wonderful kid.
And so being a father is so important to you.
Yes.
And it's how do you manage, being a dad, being there for Walter and your family, and then also just how crazy the real estate market is in New York City, how fast paced it is, how, what does your day look like?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm constantly moving. I cannot stop. So if it's taking care of the kids and then taking a phone call, I take around 120 phone calls a day. And these are not like, I'm not cold calling people. I don't do that. But I'm talking to real estate brokers, attorneys, and clients constantly. So it's, my kids are a little bit older now. They're 10 and 12. But there was times where it's like, I was on the beach with them and like wasn't in the water surfing or swimming. I did miss some moments because you get really wrapped up in work. And now I have a little bit of a better life-work balance, and they also know that I'm working. So it's gotten a little bit easier, but real estate for that is very challenging.
Yeah.
Right? Because when most people work a 9 to 5, 9 to 7 job, right? So they're not focused on real estate. They're focused on real estate at nighttime when they're home with their families and on the weekends. And that's the time when I typically should be with my family.
Right.
So it's a very hard 24/7 juggling act. But I find I'm a little frenetic at a lot of times, but I'm also able to get it all done.
I was reading an article about you recently, and you talked about how the real estate market in New York City is turning into almost like a members only exclusive club, because there are some listings that aren't even publicly listed.
Correct.
But you're selling them.
Correct.
Where do you see power and wealth moving then in New York City? Where's that market headed?
So I think the market is headed even more in that direction. And I think even since I started in the business 15 years ago, there were off-market pocket listings. I think it's moving more and more towards that. And it's oftentimes more, it feels more exclusive to buyers and sellers to be like, hey, this is an off-market listing. It's the Hermes bag that you can't buy, right? You have to be a Hermes constant purchaser to be able to get that bag. So it's sort of the same mentality for these off-market listings. And oftentimes they'll be very successful. You get higher numbers for your sellers. You'll find a buyer something that they can't get on the open market, and so they'll be thrilled. So I see the market certainly moving there in the next couple years. And there's a couple reasons why. We have a real inventory shortage, right? So there's 3,900 units on the market and in quote unquote inventory right now. So that's like what we have.
Yeah.
There's another 1,900 planned for between now and the end of 2027. The market absorbs 600 to 625 units per quarter. So if you do the math, by the end of 2027, there's going to be zero inventory. There'll be some
lower and
it's
lower.
getting lower and lower, so demand will increase and prices will automatically increase. I firmly believe if you're not buying in the next 6, 8, 12 months, that you're not going to be able to buy in the city, which is a shame.
Yeah,
right?
It begs the question of, in 5 years, who is this city going to be for?
Right.
Is it going to price out?
It's going to be very tough. I think that we need to build more, right? There needs to be regulations in place that allow for more building, more affordable building, right? So New York has always been a melting pot. Why New York is special is because it's so diverse. It's a melting pot. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, and that goes for anybody. And New York needs to stay as diverse as it has always been. It's always been a welcoming place for everybody, and that dynamic can't change.
So what should people do? I mean, because I just saw the news that rent hit the highest ever for a 1-bedroom.
Yeah.
It's just getting more and more expensive.
It's getting more and more expensive. It's getting more and more challenging.
But people are obviously buying.
Yeah.
You've got a market that wants to buy off-market listings. Right. So it's people. If people will pay, then you keep selling.
Yeah, people will pay. I mean, wealth creation over the last 20 years has been exponential, right? It continues to be exponential. The market is at an all-time high right now. I think there's going to be a correction at some point. So hopefully prices become a little bit more affordable. But right now in New York City, it is very, very difficult to either rent and or buy an apartment.
It's like affordability crisis,
It's
right?
an affordability crisis.
Do you think that a lot of people got spooked by Mayor Mamdani's election?
No, honestly, there was a lot of stuff in the news about it, but I don't think that, like, one mayor, we've had bad mayors in the past, right? I've been here for 30 years. It's not like we've ever had Bloomberg was like probably the best, but like nobody liked Giuliani. And then 9/11 happened, and then everybody loved Giuliani because he was the savior, right? So Mamdani is not going to change the makeup of this city. The makeup of this city is the financial capital of the world, the real estate capital of the world, and the social capital of the world. Those things will never change. And that's been the way since basically when the Dutch founded it.
So what needs to change to make it more affordable? Building more?
I think we need, more incentives for developers to be able to develop affordable housing, tax incentives. We need more land if we can create that. You know, at one point there was a plan to build more Battery Park City, right? I don't know if that's so feasible, but more building in Brooklyn and the boroughs for sure. But you also want to stay true to what New York is, right? And to me, I do a lot of work in the West Village. To me, and that was downzoned, right? Jane Jacobs fought so hard so that that Robert Moses couldn't build a highway through Washington Square Park, right? And completely demolish it. And that pocket of New York has stayed true to itself throughout its existence.
It is such a fine balance between development, but also keeping character of the neighborhood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So conversions of old office buildings, right? That could work.
Yeah. Which there are a lot of corporate offices, and think about the Seaport area.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wall Street area.
Exactly. Yeah. Less glass towers.
Yes.
More authentic.
More authentic. We only have a minute left, and we didn't even get to talk about the 150 miles that you've run in the Sahara Desert. So really quickly, what was your favorite part of that?
Favorite part was probably the first mile.
Beginning?
The first mile.
It was like downhill.
And then it was downhill from there. But yeah, my feet were torn up. You know what my favorite part was? It's people from all different parts of the world, right? So it's like, you're like with the Americans, the Australians, the Chinese, the English, the Australians, they all are together.
Yeah.
Like it's a melting pot.
Yeah.
And so to get to see all those different cultures in such an intimate space.
5 days of running.
5 days of running was very, very interesting.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Before we go, where can people find you? What's next for you?
So I'm on Instagram. My handle is at Zaitzeff. And I think I'm pretty reachable on the internet if you Google me.
Send him a DM, send him a
message, anything you want.
Okay, it was so great to talk to you, Peter.
This was lovely.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Come back again. We'll talk about real estate and what next ultra.
We hit a lot of topics.
We did. We hit such a range.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll talk to you next time.
Cool. Thank you.